The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks for tuning in Monday morning, starting your week off with me. We got markets right now kicking off pretty much where we were on Friday's action. You're going to see some red on the board, but all things in context here, pretty much right near record highs. Quite the acceleration we had on Friday, just zooming in, let alone, folks, the S&Ps, right? You're talking about from 42.24 last week. We close out the week 180 plus points above that level at 44.08. So with that in mind, starting off the trading week at 43.93 might as well be bumping up right near all-time highs. Even the end of the day, quite the acceleration. You look where we were at 9 a.m. on Friday, 9:30, we're trading at 43.75. We're bumping up to 43.93 right now. Tech stocks, much the same. Monday's low, 14,445, just like that. We're above 15,000. You're talking about 600 points above that price level right now. You're negative 24 points on the morning session. You get the Dow catching a little bit of a bid since about 4 a.m. We were down there at lows pre-market of 34,652. So you get the Dow up about 200 points from that level. You're negative by 83 points right now. The Russell catching a bid up by about 6 points at 2206. So Bitcoin, we'll talk about this story. You got the story out there that Amazon is thinking about getting into crypto. They got some hiring job postings out there. They're going to be hiring a crypto member of their team that will be working with the payments department. We'll pull this up after the first break as well. After we talk to Kevin Hinks, maybe at the bottom of the hour, 9:30. Interesting when you think about it. I mean, the amount of revenue they do, of course, staggering. It would make sense that they would try and lead the foray into there. They're the AWS, the cloud computing giant that they are. There's no reason why they can't begin to start taking crypto, as it really lends itself some credibility in the main sector. You get Amazon taking crypto. Watch out, folks, as the market indicates. Now, what also you have going on here, though, is you got a short squeeze. They're talking about it, the YouTube Tigers Den. I had been reading it as well, that you had the biggest liquidation of shorts they have in there since May 19th. And you're talking about 950 million of crypto shorts liquidated on Monday. I've seen a couple articles out there. Kudos, thanks to our guy, EKS in the den. I'll get it out there. But yeah, that is a big one. Let's see how Coinbase is trading today on that news. Coinbase jumping from 225 to 237. Interesting thing here, you're still not even back to the issuance price, which is an arbitrary level in terms, I think it was like 250 for Coinbase. Nonetheless, you're positive. I mean, if you said that Bitcoin, though, was going to jump, folks, from 30,000 to 40,000 over the weekend, I would think that Coinbase would probably be a little bit higher than maybe $12 higher in the pre-market. That is a mammoth jump overnight for all of the cryptos, of course, happening. And yeah, Coinbase barely up. I mean, you say barely, it's $12. Yeah, you're pushing 4 or 5%. But all things considered, folks, look at the volatility this stock has. Right, you're going to open at 237 right now on the chart. You're just basically back to where you've been chopping around on this equity since about May 17th. Okay, jumping around to commodities, back to a short-term chart in a 15-minute. We get the crude contract holding up relatively well. We dived to $65 last week. We're sitting right at near about $72 right now on crude. Gold contract was higher this morning, giving back some of those gains. You're basically flat right now at 1801. Silver contract barely in the positive by about 6 pennies at 25.29. And it's Fed week. We get a Fed meeting, wraps up on Wednesday. We'll get a press conference on Wednesday. You got the 10-year right now, positive by about 4 ticks, trading at 134.08. You're looking at a yield right now correlating to, as I pull it up, 1.268. We'll call it 1.27% yield on the 10-year. And keep your eye on the volatility index, folks. There's no reason why this VIX should be sitting at 19 as we're basically sitting at all-time highs on the markets. There is some fear priced into this market that maybe, just maybe, folks, we won't be sitting at all-time highs in perpetuity. There is a possibility of a market pullback, even in a healthy economy, let alone what we have going on right now. We got a lot of jobs to make up. You have a revision of GDP going on this morning. I think it was Goldman out there. Maybe it was Morgan Stanley. I think it was Goldman revising their estimate of the GDP. Real-life consequences of some of the Delta variant still spreading out there. Somehow that's become political, folks. But, man, you know, it's a fact of life, folks, that, you know, living in Florida right now, if you're living in Florida and you got kids that don't have the option to get vaccinated, you know, kids are going back to school and they got to go back to school. It's, you know, a necessary risk you take. But, man, it may impact some of those social behaviors when we got cases that are just through the roof, unfortunately, in Florida right now, and vaccination rates not picking up to where they need to be to get a hold of that. Bringing it back to the market, it will impact some economic decisions, folks. In Florida, going to the parks, going to concerts, when you got to, you know, close to 10,000 cases a day we're approaching, that could hurt some of the social behaviors that we're so keen to get back open in a big way. A market telling you, we got a VIX at 19. You know, you spiked to 25.09. Yeah, the S&P's got it all back in terms of that low to 42.24. But the VIX is showing you that the market has not forgotten, okay? We're sitting at 19. The market has not forgotten, folks. We were down to 14s, okay? Let's just zoom it in on where we were in April, okay? Look where the VIX is sitting right now. We're sitting at 1851. Look where it is relative to where it has been in the market. Keep in mind where the S&P is in relation to where it is in the market. The S&P is at all-time highs. The VIX is not sitting at all-time lows, okay? So the market's telling you there's a little bit of fear priced into this market right now, even as we march higher, because Monday may not be an anomaly, and when it comes quick to the downside in a big way. All right, let's jump around to what we got going on in terms of starting the week off. As I mentioned, we got a big week of tech earnings, but I'm going to try to start it off with yields. So the real yield falls to a record low. Record low. Do you remember all the records we had going on at the lows of COVID when you're talking about yields? Well, yeah, we're not quite back to the low on the yield, right? We got a yield right now approaching about 1.26%, while we were down to, what was the 10-year, like 0.5% at some of the lows there for yield when you're talking about when the shutdown just began last March. Well, you combine the inflationary data that we got, folks, and you got a real yield that's negative 1.12%, okay? So if you're buying the 10-year and you're dealing with the inflationary data we got right now, you're basically losing more than 1% a year, let alone if you're not even buying the 10-year. Folks, if you're holding cash, figure out a way to do something with it. Doesn't mean it'll be the right decision, right? But in the long run, I imagine if you keep your risk reward, you know, you keep the money in terms of what you're doing with that money, that it's not high risk invested, whether it's real estate, whether it's something, because inflation, okay, even if it's transitory, is here at 2% at least. That's what the Fed's shooting for. And man, 2%, when you start compounding 2% over 5 or 10 years, it adds up in a quick way in terms of just ripping apart the value of the dollar that you have unless you're earning money on that dollar in the same way. So the real yield you're talking about strips out inflation, you're talking about 1.127%. Now the move's compounded, of course, by lack of trading liquidity, but the 10-year break even, okay, this is what they expect in terms of the average annual rate of consumer prices over the next decade. The break even you need is 2.34% to keep up with inflation. Well, you're not getting that, folks. You're getting 1.27 right now. 1.27. You need 2.34 to break even just to keep up with inflation. That is a record low. The quote-unquote growth concern. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come back talking to our man. Oh, no, it's Monday. We'll come back taking a look at some of those equities. We'll be right back.
Golden ratios give shape to everything in our world, represented in the Fibonacci sequence. These special numbers define the patterns that make up our universe. Not even markets can escape the omnipotence of these ratios. Larry Pesavento is a 45-year market veteran who has published nearly a dozen books on the powerful patterns we find in nature and their relationships with the ever-elusive markets. Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, will teach you to harness the power of these natural golden ratios in order to create successful trades. Fibonacci 24/7 is designed to teach the tools you need to identify and act on these undeniable and reoccurring patterns. Sign up for Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, and you will also receive free access to his trading webinar, Trading Strong Trending Markets. Try out Larry's newsletter risk-free. All of TFNN's newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at tfnn.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps barely red right now. We got about 12 minutes to go until the opening bell. I got a chart of Alibaba up here. So the Chinese stocks, folks, watch out. You want to try and catch a falling knife. We got falling knives all over China, folks. I would not be trying to catch them, though, because they may be going straight to the ground. Shanghai down 2.4% almost. Hang Seng down 4.1% over in China as the smackdown continues. Now, the headline out here, over the weekend, China stocks tumble and panic selling amid broad crackdown. The new Oriental education falls by record after warning of impact. Yeah, these educational stocks, $100 billion industry, I guess, in China. Now, what goes on in China is that they have an interesting, Sam, to the colleges over there that basically define the who's and the who's nots of society. And you could call it the great equalizer of some sorts, except for the fact that the who's are able to pay all the educational companies to get their kids maybe a leg up. I mean, as is the case many times in this country as well. But China, in continuing their quest to smack down part of the rise of the most powerful out there, basically doing away with that entire industry in China, just waking up in terms of where this thing ends in a big way. Any industry getting too big, just is getting the smackdown. I just wouldn't be anywhere near it here. I mean, even the likes of Alibaba, Didi. So Alibaba is going to open under 200. The low on this chart's 198.26. We got an ask under 200 right now of 199.30. Didi shares, okay, quite the slide they've had since their IPO on June 30th. Remember what the world looked like on June 30th when you talk about China, folks? It's July 26th. We're not even 30 days later. Remember the day Didi went public? Yeah, none of this was talked about, okay? Alibaba, Jack Ma, yeah, that was known, all right, but it was not known what was going to happen in terms of this, in terms of Didi and Alibaba and all of the likes going to negative prices. We're talking about $7.25 this morning, folks, on Didi. It just does not stop where this thing goes. I would not be touching any part of this because who knows what the real agenda is of China over there and where they draw the line in terms of smacking down some of these tech stocks, making sure they don't get too big in a little bit of a version of populism. Yeah, anyway, enough said. It just doesn't end, and I would not be waiting for any part of that because you're dealing with, a Chinese government that's thinking decades, if not hundreds of years into the future of their plan. They are not worried about Didi shareholders over the period of 26 days losing more than half of their investment. Not even close. They got big long-term plans in a big way. Okay, what else we got going on? We talked about Bitcoin, talked about real yields. Let's check around to some of the stocks that are moving this week. We got some big numbers coming out with their earnings. Some of the stocks already moving in terms of earnings. We got Hasbro out with their numbers. $1.05 a share, well above the 47 cents. Toy market alive and well. Revenue beating forecast as well. Film and TV-related businesses returned to growth following the pandemic and also saw strong results in its Wizards division thanks to the Dungeons & Dragons. I remember that. Magic the Gathering. Hasbro has them up about 3% pre-market. There's their chart. 92.41 is where they were on Friday. We're going to open at about 98, call it. 98 on this chart. You're going to be bumping up towards the upper boundary line, 100 really. The boundary line to the upside, and there's your 15-minute chart on their earnings this morning. Looks like the conference call began 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, trading even higher on that earnings call. Lockheed Martin, the defense contractor, $6.52 a share. That includes a 61-cent charge related to performance. The estimate was $6.53, so pretty much in line. Revenue beat forecast as well. And you got shares falling, though. They raised their forecast. This is where, man, some of these companies, there's a lot of beat priced in, folks. We saw some strong earnings last week, man. And to exceed expectations when you got a market trading so high is not easy to do, as Lockheed proves there. Basically just misses on earnings by a penny, and then they beat on revenue. They raise their forecast, and the company trades lower. Yeah, 10-cent music, down 13% in pre-market. Regulators barred the company from holding exclusive rights to online music. Just stay away from China, folks. You know, maybe, and I don't even think so. I'm kind of being kind. There's better places to analyze the risk reward and maybe have your capital in tow, because some of these companies are going to be uninvestable. Okay, there's the term out here around uninvestable. I think it was probably in this. This article that I was in. You could spend in, if you have Bloomberg access, they put out some great work, folks. Because they go through in this article many different aspects of this, and it's talking about worst case became a reality. That's JP Morgan analysts, including DS Kim, not familiar, and a note saying it was uncertain whether the companies could remain listed. Not even sure what they're talking about. They go through a bunch, as in which ones. They might be talking about the educational companies, I think, here. It's unclear what level of restructuring the company should undergo, and with the new regime, and in our view, this makes these stocks virtually uninvestable. All right, that's where I would go for basically the entirety of those companies over there until you really get a clear path of what's going on. And I admit, you do not have a clear path of the agenda of what's going on over in China right now. And that's the thing that I don't know anybody could really quantify where this ends, where the bottom is, to try and catch that falling knife. Okay, what else we got going on in terms of stocks over there that are making moves this morning? Yeah, so we talked about Amazon. Let's check out Amazon. Not really moving on this news because they're just so big. I mean, you're positive a little bit, I guess. You're up by $15, but you get the NASDAQ 100 basically flat. But Amazon moving toward accepting Bitcoin, considering the creation of its own digital token, according to an insider quoted, posted a job advertising for a cryptocurrency and blockchain lead. They'll work with the payments team over in Amazon. Market loved that, and we know what happened to Bitcoin. And then you got a short squeeze pushing things even further. And checking out what else we got going on. Yeah, Diddy gets a downgrade. Surprise, surprise. Who's going to give that thing an upgrade right now? Okay, let's get into some of the stocks that we got for earnings that are coming out this week. So the numbers that we get. Tesla's going to be out with their numbers. We're jumping over to the Analyze tab. We get the earnings. Tesla kicks things off today after the bell. You're looking at a $43 move for this equity. That is quite a move when you're talking about only a $640 stock. Now, backing it up, we're trading at about $650 this morning, up a bit. As I said, you got about a $43 move priced in. So you're talking about a 6 to 7% move on their earnings after the bell tonight. Yes, after the bell tonight, Monday. Microsoft, tomorrow after the bell. They're looking at a $4.44 move. You're talking about a stock trading at about $290. Microsoft will be out in their numbers tomorrow. Amazon, I believe, is Thursday. Yes, it is. We get Google shares tomorrow. So Microsoft and Google tomorrow. I believe it's Apple on Wednesday. Is that right? No, Apple. Apple tomorrow as well. Look at that. So Apple tomorrow, Microsoft tomorrow, Google tomorrow. Watch out, folks. Apple, Microsoft, Google, all tomorrow. And then we get Amazon on Thursday as well. I believe we got Facebook in there. Facebook on Wednesday. There's the one. Facebook on Wednesday. Some big numbers across the board. Some big expectations. You take a look at the NASDAQ 100. Back it up to the chart. Excuse me. Now, just to put this thing on a daily, folks, something to keep in mind, okay? It is July 26th. You back it up 3 months ago, right? May, June, July. Yeah, you back it up to April, okay? April 26th. I'm going to show her this chart. You're trading at about 14,000, give or take. So now we're above 15,000. We're 3 months later exactly. Look at the run we've had, folks, though, since May 12th, from 13,000 to 15,000. Okay, you've traded up more than 15% in that time. We're pushing all-time highs. Where is the expectation? Now, you look at this well-defined channel line in the NQs, all right? The upper boundary line still has some room up there, but the lower boundary line, talk about under 14,000 potentially, and that is still within the uptrend channel. Just talking about how high those expectations may be. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back for the opening bell.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at Tfnn.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open, and we get you in a little bit of a bid as we come into that opening bell. You get the S&Ps climbing towards 4,400. We're negative by just 4 points right now at 43.98. Tech stocks barely in the red as well, negative by about 20 points at 15,070. Dow catching a bid. We're bumping up near 35,000 again. You're within about 90 points of the highs. And the Dow and the Russell continuing to climb. We're positive by 0.7% in the Russell right now, trading up 16 points at 22.16. We'll check out Bitcoin. Trading above 38,000, 38,280. Let's jump over to Amazon. Amazon shares giving back some of the pre-market gains it had. We're still positive by about 0.1% right now. Commodity-wise, crude's negative 25 cents right now. You got gold contract negative $1 sitting right at 1,800. And you jump to notes and bonds. We get the 10-year positive by 2 ticks, but giving back some of the gains that we had on that 10-year. You're talking about a yield now as we've pulled back a bit. Yield's climbing a bit, 1.27%. We'll call it the yield on that 10-year. Let's jump over the VIX. Volatility index right now trading at 1848. All right, I'm going to jump over to Boeing real quick. Boeing trading down about 0.6%. You were as low as 204 last week on the plunge we had on Monday. You trade up to 224. Talk about some volatility on Boeing. Giving back some of those gains it had last week. You put Boeing on the daily. All right, now where does this go? Let's see. I think this is going to be, this is a 5-year weekly. I was just playing with this kind of over the weekend. You know, you could make the case there. You come off the March lows of COVID at $89. You touch that level on November 2nd in terms of where you were at about 150. You get a little bit of ahead of itself up to 278 as recently as March 15th. We've traded right back down to that lower boundary line, catching a little bit of a bid last week, kind of what you like to see. The upper boundary line, driven by the 2 points we had, whether it was June 8th of last year, these are weekly bars, and then that acceleration to higher prices we had in March. So putting it back to a 15-minute, there's your volatility. Now the news out here, it's a take. I think this might even be an opinion piece. Not sure, but what they are talking about here, the turnaround that they need threatened by talent exodus. Not really do you hear a lot about this. They got a bunch of headlines in Boeing, but digging into in terms of the executives there. After calamity and years of restrained ambition under cost-obsessed executives, the company that was once a factory of dreams is losing workers to SpaceX and Amazon. So they go into this here in terms of the human capital that they have lost to some of the other companies out there in terms of space and so forth. More than 3,200 engineers and technical workers have left the company's Seattle manufacturing hub since the start of last year, or 18% of the union that represents them. That is a staggering number for a company that size. You're talking about 3,200 employees with only a scant number added behind. In all, Boeing is aiming to cut 23,000 employees from its executive committee to the factory floor through layoffs, buyouts, and retirement initiatives it launched last year as it racked up record financial losses. Interesting take. Hadn't really read about that. If you have an opportunity to check that out on Bloomberg, I would check it out. Interesting article. Boeing, with the airlines, this is one of the ones that is really lagging behind in terms of where we've been on COVID. You commit to COVID at 350. We're still sitting at 220 right now. Eventually, I imagine that will make its way back up to some type. But, man, you back up Boeing. You want some context here, right? All right, you trade right back down. I remember when this is happening. It was remarkable to think that Boeing had actually traded back to 2013 prices just like that, folks. You got it back in 1 year. You go from $446 down to $89. You went from $350 down to $89 in the 2 months as the market figured out February and March that air travel would almost cease to exist. But you can chop around in some areas for Boeing. I mean, you chopped around for the better part of 2013 all the way through almost the end of 2016, bumping up against 150. You drive to 450. We're sitting at 221 right now on Boeing shares as they lag in a big way. Back to just a daily. Checking out some of the airlines because they really got some action last week with some of their earnings numbers. You got American positive by about 0.9 this morning, trading at 21.40. Delta Airlines positive by 1.4%. Seems like you're getting the airlines catching a bid as we're getting the S&Ps into the positive right now. You get the Dow positive by 20 points, looking to make all-time highs as well. Russell really catching a bid, up 29 points as well. Let's take a look at some of the Fang stocks as we get ready for their earnings. Amazon giving back some of the gains it had pre-market, but you're still, you're basically flat right now on Amazon. Excuse me. And let's jump over to Tesla shares ahead of their numbers tonight. Tesla, small bid, up 1% right now. Could be a little bit having to do with crypto as well. Pretty sure they still have some Bitcoin on their books, so that's going to help them as they trade higher. You got Tesla with the numbers tonight. You got Microsoft tomorrow, down about 0.9. I mean, look at this run Microsoft has had, from 240 to 290. Folks, you're up 20% in Microsoft shares in about 2 months. All right, they better crush it out of the park if you're up 20% in 2 months. Keep that in mind as we come into the numbers and what the market really may be looking for. Because if you think, you just have to crush it out of the park, I mean, the market knows that these companies are crushing it out of the park. Whether they really deliver above expectations, we're going to find out this week. Apple shares trading right near all-time highs as well. Facebook up about 0.5%, 371.67. Let's check out some of the social media companies that really crushed it last week. So look at this. Snapchat giving it back a bit today, down 3.7%. They had quite a banner Friday. Was that up like 20%? Twitter shares down 1.9%, almost back to where you were on Thursday before Twitter traded higher on Friday as well. Let's jump to Coinbase to see how the crypto is affecting it. Coinbase up about 6.8%, trading at 240, and we'll jump to Bitcoin right now. Holding above 38,000. Bitcoin trading at 38,170 right now. Yeah, and it is interesting when you look at, in terms of Bitcoin, pulling over some of the articles I was reading about it as well. So, nears 40,000, of course. You had a short squeeze going on the big way, as I mentioned. Job ad, just one simple job ad, folks. You think it's a store of value. You can't be a store of value if one company puts up one job ad and the whole market goes bananas to the upside and short squeezes push this thing to an extraordinary level. And there's the number that we talked about, that they were talking about the YouTube Tigers Den as well. 950 million of crypto shorts were liquidated on Monday, the most since May 19th, according to data from Bybit maybe. The extent of the jump was probably driven by over-leveraged shorts. Yeah, not the first time that's happened in these markets, but look at that jump, folks, right? Remarkable. On Binance, the largest crypto exchange, Bitcoin perpetual contracts jumped as much as 30% to over an hour in early trading, a sign of extreme volatility. Yeah, I would say that to the least. But one simple job posting, folks. An executive to develop the company's digital currency and blockchain strategy. Seems like it's going to be, if you're developing any type of strategy at Amazon, you're in quite a position, right? You're developing their blockchain strategy. You better have an idea what's going on. And, of course, stirred questions among analysts over whether the move could eventually lead to Amazon accepting Bitcoin as a method of payment. Why not, right? Why not? If somebody wants to pay in Bitcoin and Bezos can figure out how to take that and turn it into cash, I think he'd be foolish not to do that. And I imagine the market's making that same analysis today with Bitcoin over 38,000. Now, the question is, though, how much of this is a short squeeze if you got $950 million worth of Bitcoin shorts getting squeezed out of this market, forcing the buying all here? And look at that acceleration at 9 o'clock last night. That's where the volume really came in. Now, this is just the futures, but up to 39,395, but holding pretty well on the open. Get some volume on the open, and you're holding above 38,000. You get the S&Ps positive by 2, climbing towards those highs of 4408. Dow negative by 27. Just missed the highs again. Dow makes up to a high of 34,991. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at tfnn.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps flat right now, sitting at 4402. Just one of the stocks that caught my eye. We have some Walmart in my newsletter, Rocket Equities and Options. You can check it out on the front page of TFNN, folks. Every newsletter we do, 30-day money-back guarantee. Great time to try out any of the products we offer, folks. We're coming into some big weeks in earnings right now. I was just checking out. So it is quite a week in earnings indeed in terms of the amount of companies coming out with their numbers. Let me pull that up and get it exactly. Come on, where are we? There we go. 165 companies of the S&P 500, almost one out of three exactly. 165 of the companies due to report this week alone. You get all the mega cap stocks we talked about, Apple, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Amazon coming out with their numbers. You also get a Fed week as well. Now, the mega cap, they're going to get all the headlines, right? But we got 165 companies, folks, in a big way that are coming out with their numbers. Just talking about we talked about Tesla, okay? So they're out with their numbers. Now, tomorrow, we get the Fed meeting begins. That'll wrap up on Wednesday. In terms of tomorrow's earnings, right, we talked about Apple, I believe, let's see, we'll go in. I'm looking at a chart here, but this is where AAPL, we're going into the earnings tab, analyze earnings. Yeah, Apple is on Wednesday, okay? We get Google, Microsoft. I mean, some of these numbers tomorrow that aren't even going to be the big number. We get Cheesecake Factory out there tomorrow. We get JetBlue, the airlines continuing, 3M, Visa out with their numbers as well. Now, Wednesday, you got a Fed statement at 2 o'clock. You got Jerome Powell, chairman, briefing at 2:30. He'll have a press conference, okay? And then you also get, we talked about Boeing. They're out with their numbers on Wednesday. We get Apple numbers as well. You get Facebook, Pfizer, Qualcomm, McDonald's, one of the equities in my newsletter as well. Been doing well recently, making some all-time highs. Thursday, Amazon, the big one out there on Thursday. You get Merck, Comcast, NBC coverage. Olympics, check out the Olympics this weekend. Some great swimming going on out there. Can't wait for the track and field to start kicking things off. One of my favorite for the Summer Olympics out there. Anheuser-Busch is Thursday as well, jumping through Yum Brands, right? I'm just cherry picking a few. But you can see it is the big week, 165 companies. You also get second quarter GDP number on Thursday at 8:30 at the same time that you get unemployment claims as well. And then Friday, for some of the names that jump out at me for earnings, Friday you're talking about let's see, Caterpillar, Chevron, ExxonMobil, Procter & Gamble, Colgate, Palmolive. Yeah, that's kind of it on Friday for the earnings. But a big week, 165 companies, and interesting that we come into that big week at such lofty expectations with the market basically bumping up near all-time highs. You check out the NQs. And did we just? We did. We just made a new all-time high on the NQ acceleration. I guess that was pre-market. Okay, 15,127. You made that last night, but we're bumping up to that level right now at 15,083. Bitcoin holding pretty steady, 38,000 right now. Crude holding steady at about $72, and gold contracts sitting right just above 1,800 at 1,803. Okay, jumping around to what else we had, taking a look at some of the stocks in terms of I was looking at this morning. One of the things to keep your eye on, folks, And this was, it's said in, it's a bummer it's all become political. You got to talk about the virus, folks, if you're going to talk about the market in terms of where we are right now. You're still dealing with rapid cases. Living in Florida, folks, it's a different world right now in Florida, the amount of cases we have. It's very unfortunate. I'm jealous of the people in the Northeast who all got vaccinated. And unfortunately, they're not dealing with some of the spikes we have going on here right now. Where that spike finishes is going to be anyone's guess right now. You got, the former FDA chief. And this is where, you learn from different areas where things have gone, how long it takes for that peak to come. Hopefully it is in 2 or 3 weeks, because the steepness of the curve in Florida right now is pretty bonkers to the upside, folks. I think our total for the weekly basis was 73,000 cases this past week, more than 10,000 cases a day. The percentage jump that you're dealing with in cases in Florida, and thank goodness we have the vaccine. Thank goodness if you get vaccinated that you probably won't deal with a terminal illness, end up getting hospitalized, and so forth. But we are dealing with, as it was said on Friday, a pandemic of the unvaccinated, folks, and hospitalizations are rising. I was having this conversation with my dad on Friday. If you just want to keep it to the market, okay, now you could have a humanity conversation about this as well, in terms of people should be encouraged to go out and get vaccinated for their own benefit, okay? But just bringing it to the market, like we like to do here, all right, hospitalizations are rising, where it again has become a concern that you could see hospitalizations reach a level that then even the most ardent anti-lockdown supporters out there, folks, you start getting hospitals bumping up to those levels, all right? And I'm not going to give DeSantis any credit for how he's handled this, but you might have to. Even somebody who's failed this pandemic as harsh as Ron DeSantis might have to do something if hospitalizations reach a level that they are rising. And the other thing that people don't talk about, folks, because I have people that are in the healthcare industry in my household, okay, is that there aren't as many healthcare workers in these hospitals anymore, because the people who were surviving the last year and a half in hospitals, there aren't as many there anymore. Whether you're talking about respiratory therapists, nurses, some of those people have moved on from the stress of this last year and a half. All right, so they might not even have the capacity that they had a year ago. But harsh numbers in a big way, and just keep your eye on it, because you start seeing hospitalization rise to the point that even governors that don't want to lock down, all right, they don't have much choice, because governors do not want to be responsible for hospitals filling up and people being refused care, regardless of what aisle they sit on. And unfortunately, in some states at least, Florida being one of them, it is now a concern again. I don't know if it's likely, folks, but it shouldn't be a concern, and it wasn't a concern for me happening ever again. If you told me 2 months ago that Florida would be flirting with potentially driving hospitalizations to the degree that you would have to have lockdowns again in Florida, I would have told you that was incorrect, and I would have disagreed. Today, not quite the case with the numbers we're dealing with and the way this is spreading and the way the vaccinations have begun to plunge to lower levels. So we'll see. But UK dealing with it, you had about a 3 week, and that's, in the UK, all right, you got Boris Johnson over there. He's not trying to lock it down either, but spike's going, folks. When you got deals with hospitalizations, that's what you want to keep your eye on for the market, hospitalizations, because that's the only thing that I see really driving this thing lower. And just like that, we got the S&P sitting at about 4403. Let's jump around to that note and bond market real quick. We're giving it back a little bit here in the 10-year. So we got the 10-year pulling back to about flat. Now, what's remarkable here is that these moves look like nothing, but they are mammoth moves, folks, in any other universe. I mean, you just traded up overnight, the 10-year, to 134.19. You trade up 13 ticks and you get it all back, just like that, as we're sitting at about 1.27% right now on that 10-year. And let's check out how the VIX is trading, because this is the one I love to watch, folks. You got the S&Ps bumping up near all-time highs, and this VIX will not decrease the price that they are charging for a premium to cover yourself on a downside swing, folks. Little bit of fear in this market, to put it lightly, and you want to keep your eye on that as well. And it might have to do with exactly what I was talking about. There are fears that have inched their way into this market with this virus, okay? And you could call it growth concerns due to the virus, all right? Or you could just call it growth concerns that we're not rebounding as quickly as we all hoped, right? You get the Goldman Sachs revision of GDP out there this morning. People got their spikes up a little bit more so now with seeing these cases. The third wave is coming. It's here in Florida. And the market paying attention a little bit, with the VIX sitting pretty elevated when you look at where we are in the market, folks, all right? We've had the VIX flirting at 14 for the better part of some weeks going back a couple months. Not this week. We had the VIX sitting at 18. coming into a big week of tech. Stay tuned, folks. Right back after the break to wrap up the show.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We get the market in positive territory by a point right now. The S&P trading up by 1 point. NASDAQ negative by 2 point. NASDAQ 100, that is, catching a little bit of a bid on the open. There's your 930 bar. We trade down to 15,040, and just like that, we're above where we were in the opening print. You get the Dow bumping up near all-time highs at 34,919. Bitcoin going to be one of the stories of the day across the media for sure. You're up $5,800 on the session, technically up about $18 at 38,300 on Bitcoin. Let's jump around to some of the other technology stocks. So Zoom got an upgrade. I saw it here from somebody. Zoom's up about 3% right now, trading at $370. Zoom, you put this thing on a 3-year weekly. Talk about getting a little bit ahead of itself, up to 588 on the highs of October. We're back to 370.43 right now on Zoom shares. Back to a 15 minutes. Some of the other tech stocks just jumping around. CrowdStrike, what are they doing? Down about 1.2%. Roku had quite the week last week, and it's continuing. Amazing. Roku's up 1.8%. This thing was trading, folks, I got a 5-day chart up here on a 15-minute basis, and I got 388 on this chart, and we're pushing 483, almost $100 that this thing is traded higher in a big way. Roku, just an amazing, amazing acceleration. You put it on the daily. We're bumping up. The highs, 486.72 from February. We made it down to a low of 272. back on May, and we're more than $200 above that price level. That was their last earnings. When are they coming out with this number? August 4th, Roku will be out with their numbers. Boy, you think they're going to have some lofty expectations? Since the last time they came out with earnings, this stock has almost doubled. Not quite, but remarkable in terms of Roku. And let's finish it up with the big tech stocks. We got Amazon back to higher prices. Look at that charge. We're up about 0.2% right now on Amazon at $36.80. You got Tesla coming out with their numbers after the bell tonight. Tesla's up a full percent at $6.49. Microsoft tomorrow with their numbers down about 0.7%. Google positive by about 0.3%, and Facebook shares positive by about 0.8% as well. Finish it up with the VIX. VIX just sitting 1838. All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman coming up next. Don't forget, folks, Basil, he's going to have the second part of his online course coming up on Wednesday. You can still sign up for the archive of the first one right under the services tab, the front page of Tfnn. Stay tuned, folks. Basil's next. Fast Market at 11. We got our man Larry Pesavento at noon. Steve Rhodes at 1. Dave White at 2. Tom O'Brien. I think we got a guest host for Tom this afternoon. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll